So, hello and welcome to lesson 17 in our study of scientific computing 2, where we are studying the Python programming language and several packages which comes along with it. So, lesson 17 is going to be very interesting, okay? So, we are going to talk about the Matplotlib, alright, package in Python. So, I'm Bodo Randolph, a final year student of mathematics, KNUST, and I'll be taking you through this lesson. My program is alright. So in this video we'll be talking about these things. So we are going to have a brief description of what the matplotlib is, then how to get the matplotlib, then we also learn about plotting linear graphs, plotting pie charts, plotting scatter diagrams, plotting histograms, plotting curves, and reading images. Is that not interesting already? Yeah, so let's dive deep into it, okay? So Python is very useful in plotting graphs, but before one can plot graphs in Python, one has to first have the matplotlib model so that one can import it. Okay, so matplotlib is a comprehensive library for creating static, animated, and interactive visualizations in Python. And we use the matplot.pyplot for plotting various types of graphs in Python. Right, and we can use a matplotlib.image to read images in Python. And note that these are not the only things you can do with the matplotlib. There are several others, but these are the ones we'll be talking about in this video. That's one of the commonly used feature of the matplotlib in Python. And so before we dive into plotting linear graphs, you first have to have the matplotlib before you can use it to do whatever we are coming to do. So if you don't have it, if you are using the Linux operating system, you can open your terminal. And if you are using Windows, you can open your command prompt and type pip install matplotlib. Right? So matplotlib. So you have to make sure you are connected to the internet. So if you are connected to the internet, it will download it for you when you click enter. Okay. Alright. So if you have it already installed on your machine, then you can just import it and you will use it. Okay, so make sure you have the matplotlib first before you go on with this lesson so that you'll be able to practice along. Okay, so now let's learn how to plot linear graphs using the matplotlib. Okay, all right, so this is a code to plot the temperature of a place in some time intervals. Okay, and it's going to be a linear graph. Right, so we are importing matplotlib.pyplot as plt, right? So the first thing that we always do when we are plotting with the matplotlib is to import the model, right? .pyplot, and we want to import it as plt, and we have a list of the points for the x and a list of points for the y. So 0 corresponds to 12.7, 1 corresponds to 39.1, and what have you. And plt.x label helps us to label the x-axis. So here we are labeling the x-axis time intervals in hours. And plt.y label, like the name of the y-axis, right? And plt.title helps us to give a title for the graph. And plt.plot helps us to plot the graph. So we are plotting the points x and y. And we can give it extra argument if you want to. So here I want the color to be yellow. Then plt.show is a function which is going to show the graph. Okay, so I have that code here, linear graphs, right? Whatever is plain here. So if I should run this, let's see if it's going to give us an interesting graph. So this is the graph that's plotted it for us. Do you get it? Alright, so a graph of the temperature recorded in some time intervals. So this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, right? And we can have our beautiful graph here. Okay, all right, so let's also draw one more line. Let's draw the line y equals 2x. Okay, okay. Oh, I didn't spell the matplotlib well. Alright, so I've imported that module now, right? So we are plotting the line y equals 2x, right? So we are using these points for x, right? So if x is 1, then y will be 2. If x is 2, then y will be 4. So we are plotting the line y equals 2x. So this simple code is going to plot it for us. So this is the line y equals what? 2x. Okay. Alright, so there's how to plot linear graphs in Python using the Matplotlib package. Okay. So we are going to go on with how to plot pie charts. Okay. Alright, so I think I have the code here. Let me explain from there. So always we have to import the matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay, and when we are plotting pie chart, we always have a label, and that label has what? Values or slices. So here the labels I want to plot eat, sleep, work, and play. Like those are the activities, and the value for each activity is given here. So for instance, eat, the value is 3. Sleep, the value is 7. That of work is 8 and that of play is 6, right? And I want to get a color for each label. So I want eat to be red, sleep to be yellow, work to be green, and play to be black. So this is the function I'm going to use to plot the pie chart. So plt.pie. So you see the values come first, and the values are the slices. So I have them here, and the labels are my activities. So that's why I have labels equals activities, and the colors I'm going to use equal to the color here, the red, yellow, green, and the start angle. It means that we want to start the drawing from 90 degrees, and the shadow means we want there to be a shadow in each label. And the explode equals 0, 0, 0 means that we want the offset from each label to be 0. Okay, and the radius, we want the radius to be 1.2, and this we want to format each percentage to have a 1 decimal place. That's what you can see here, right? And plt.legend is going to give a legend to the graph, and plt.show is a function which will show the pie chart. So if I should run this code, wow, so I hope you saw that. So yes, this is the pie chart we created, right? Okay, so the B was for blue, right? So let's come here and we can make some changes to it. So when it comes to the explode, for instance, we can do each of, let's do one of them 0.5 and see something. So you see when we did it the 0.5, it has caused what? An offset. So it has separated it from the others by what? 0.5. Okay, so now we can do all of them 0.1 if you want to. So we are just playing around the code. Okay, 0.1 and 0.1. Then we can change the formatting to, okay, let's make it 1 decimal place now. So you can see we have this interesting what? Pie chart. Okay, so this is how to draw pie charts in Python using the Matplotlib. Okay, so here it tells you that shadow equals true will show you a shadow beneath each label in your pie chart. Then the start angle rotates the start of the pie chart by the given degrees. Explode is used to set the fraction of radius with which we offset each wedge, and the auto PCT is used to format the value of each label. And here we have set it to show the percentage value only up to one decimal place, as we said. So now let's learn how to plot scatter diagrams or scatter plots. So we always have to import our models, and there's a point for the x, there's a point for the y, right? So the function we use to plot the graph is plt.scatter, the point that we are plotting our x and y. Then we want our label to be stars, okay? Now when the graph is generated, you understand what it does. Then you want the color to be green, the marker to be dot, and the size of each marker to be 40. Then this is going to name the x-axis, this is going to name the y-axis, this is going to give a title to the graph, this shows the legend, and this is a function which shows the graph. So scatter plot, right? So there's it. So if we should run the script, so you can see, right? So you see that we set the legend to be okay, the legend should have been point, right? Because we have point here. So I can come here. So where's my pie chart? So since the labels are stars, right? I can come here and change the dot here to the asterisk, the star. So if I should run this code, you can see that I have a scatter plot, right? And you can see that we have the point here and they are what? They are stars, right? So we can change the color and everything, right? It's very simple to work around it. So that's how to plot scatter plot in Python, right? Using the Matplotlib. Now let's go to bar chart. So we are going to plot a simple bar chart. So we first have to import our Matplotlib.py.plt. Then our X, we have some months, January, February, and March, and we have some heights, 150, 300, 250. So there is a function to plot and there's a function to show, right? So let's go to the bar chart. So this is the code you saw there. So if we should run this, right, you can see an interesting bar chart here, right? Okay. So let's move on with the video. So histogram, right? So how we can plot histogram in Python using the matplotlib. So we first import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. So we have some frequencies, right? And we have we have ages which are 2, 5, 7, blah blah blah. So when we are plotting our histogram, we have to set a range, so the range of the values. So you want the range of the values to be from 0 to 20, right? And the beans means the number of intervals. We want to have 5 intervals. That's why we have 5 here. So plotting a histogram, we use the function plt.hist. So we are plotting ages, which are the frequencies. Then our bean is 5. Then the range from 0 to 20, we want to use a color red. We want the his type to be bar. And we want the width, right, to be 0.8. Then we are naming the x axis as age, the y axis as number of people, and the title of the histogram as Randolph's histogram. Then the function to show the plot is plt.show. Okay. So if we should come here to our histogram, so this is the same code I illustrated there, right? So let's run this. Wow. So we get our histogram here, right? So this is how to use Python to do these things. Okay, all right. So now let's go to plotting curves of given functions, right? So in this case, I want us to plot cos x, right? So we first import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and we import numpy as np because we want to generate some array to plot our function, right? So here we are seeing s is equal to np dot array. By now you should know what it does, right? So it will create an array from 0 to 2 times like 2 pi, because you are seeing np dot pi and the step is 0.1. Then y is equal to np dot cos of what, x. And so that means that if x is 0 here, the y value will be what, cos 0. If x is 2 here, the y value will be 2. So that's how we get it. So it's going to generate those arrays for x and y, and it is going to plot them and show them, right? Actually, we are just trying to plot cos x, right? So if I should run this, you see, to plot for us how the cos function looks like, right? So you can see that, right? mm-hmm. Right, then we can change the cos to sine so that we will plot sine instead. So sine x. So now let's run this. You can see this gives us a different function, right? Which looks like the sine function. So this is how to plot curves of given equations using the Matplotlib package in Python, right? So the last thing we want to do in this video is to let you know how to read images in Python, right? Using the matplot.image. So here I imported a matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and because I want to read image, I import matplot.image as im. Then I have to get the image I want to what, read. So here I'm just doing an assignment that img is equal to im.imread. Then I pass the directory where the image is found to it. Okay. Then I can print the image. You know, image are just arrays, right? Matrices. So when I print the image, I'm going to get like the composition of the image in terms of its arrays and matrices, right? Then I can use this function to show the image, right? The function you can see here. So let me run this code. And later on, we will take one more example under it for you to understand it well. Okay. All right. So this is the image I wanted to view, right? So you can see the image here, right? Then this here that you see, the 1111 that you see here, is the array. You see, so that image that you see is a composition of these arrays. Okay, right. So maybe let's take one more example here. So I want to read an image, so import. Then I'm importing so now I want to read a certain image, right? So I think I have an image here that I want to read. Okay, so which image should I even read? So I want to read this image. Optimization assignment model, right? So what I'll do is that I'll come to the directory and copy it. So I'll shift and right click to copy it as path, right? So I've copied the path of the image. Then I post it here, alright. Then this is how Python reads the path. So I have to get rid of this and change these to forward slashes, right? Alright, so now that I'm done with this, then I can go to enter. So that means that now the image has been read and it is stored in a variable img. So if I should print img, you see it will give me the arrays which make up what that image, and you can see that here, right? So that's what you can see here, and I can finally show the image. Okay, so the image is img, and this function will show the image for us. So this was the image we were using. Do you get it? So that's very interesting. So there is something small in the Matplotlib. It can be used for many other things, right? So you can later on try to read something on it to expand your scope. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you in the next lesson. So in the next lesson, we are going to talk about Git and GitHub. Okay, all right. So I'll see you in the next lesson.